Today we are going to be talking about the top 10 things that you should not say to somebody who has just had a miscarriage.
Sometimes life's biggest storms give you the most beautiful rainbows. We are chasing rainbows.
Hi, welcome back to Chasing Rainbows. My name is Christina. I'm so glad that you stumbled upon my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the top 10 things that you should not say to somebody who has just had a miscarriage. On my channel, if you've been here before, you know we talk a lot about miscarriages and loss and walking through the due date. I have lost 3 babies of my own. If you want to know more of my story, go back and look at the other videos. But for now, we're going to go straight to the top 10. All right, so the top 10 things that you shouldn't say to somebody who's had a miscarriage. If you haven't watched the first part of this video where I talk about the emotional effects after losing a child, go back and watch that one first. Putting the link somewhere up here. Watch that one first because that's really important, because often people say things that are hurtful and they don't know that they're saying something that's hurtful. And I think it's because they don't understand what that person has gone through. And you really need to understand that before you think of what to say or what to do for somebody else who's gone through this or is going through this. I also will say there is nothing you can say or do that's going to fix the loss of a child for somebody. There's not. So don't think too hard. Don't stress yourself out over it. Really, the person ultimately just needs you to be there for them. They need you to be there, simply put. When you're walking through something difficult, you need your friends, you need your family, you need understanding from coworkers. You just need some sympathy, some grace, and some love and some kindness. So, we will get to the kindness part. I don't know if it'll be in this video or not. This may end up being a 3-part video, but here is the top 10 things not to say to somebody. 1, it wasn't a real baby. This is so hurtful. Don't even think of saying this to somebody, because it was a real baby. You know what? It was a real baby when they planned they were going to try for a baby, when they hoped for the baby, when they saw 2 pink lines on a pregnancy test. It was a real baby, a real hope, a real dream, a real change in their future. That was a huge loss. Don't diminish their loss by saying words like that. 2, at least you weren't further along. Better now than later. All you want is more time with your baby. So that thinking is totally twisted. And the only way you could think that way is if you haven't lost a baby yourself. Because you just want one more month, one more week, one more day, one more hour. You want more, not less. You think about all the things that you missed out on, both in pregnancy and after. So, yeah, don't say that. 3, it wasn't meant to be. Oh, gosh. Ooh, where do I even start? And maybe they weren't meant to lose that child. Maybe there was an accident at the hands of the doctor, because people are human and they make mistakes, and people's mistakes don't often compromise God's plan. So don't say that. 4, appreciate and enjoy the child you have instead of wasting the time being sad about this one you don't. Be thankful you have at least one child. Some people have none. Trust me, if you have a child, like I do, I have a daughter who is going to be turning 12 next week. I appreciate her. I didn't know what a miracle she was until going through such a long gap of not having any other children and losing 3 babies. Trust me. I appreciate her. I am grateful for her. But having her does not take away the pain of losing the other 3. I loved each of my children equally. Equally. I was grateful, just as grateful for them as I was with her when I found out. And I'm sad for what I'll never get to experience. I'm thankful I have Jayla here to experience and create memories. And maybe I don't have that from the other 3. Not in the same way, at least. Yeah, don't diminish the pain of the one that's lost. 5. Well, at least you can get pregnant. Boy. I don't even know where to start with that one, so I'm not even going to say anything. 6. At least you didn't tell many people. That would be embarrassing. No, what's embarrassing is that you said that in the first place. Don't say that. Honestly, women should be more encouraged to speak up right away. Share the news sooner, not later. We're all told to wait until the safe zone when there is no safe zone. There's not. You can lose a child at any time. In the first trimester, in the second, third, or even after. It happens all the time, unfortunately. It does. But people shouldn't suffer in silence, and that's basically what you're telling them to do. You're also telling them in a way that you don't really care so much to listen, like that's, or saying it's shameful or something to be embarrassed of. It's not. It's not. It's hard, and they need people to walk through. They need support, which is why I created a channel like this, to build a community for those that don't have anybody, because you've had things like this said to them. So really don't say that one. 7, this is not a big deal. It happens to everyone. You're right. Statistics say it's a 1 in 4 chance that you'll have a miscarriage. So you're right, it's common, but it doesn't make it any less hurtful or painful, and especially when it happens to you. You always think tragedies will never happen to you, but when they do, they rock your world. Trust me, that really shakes a family up when a child is lost. And yes, a whole family, especially if other family members know. It's heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for me, for my husband, for my daughter. We were all hoping for this last little baby, especially with having made it almost halfway through. So don't say that. Number 8, maybe you should have, maybe you shouldn't have, you fill in the blank. Actually, don't fill in the blank. Don't say it at all. But every mother that loses a baby questions herself, whether they did anything wrong or not. We all question ourselves and believe that maybe if we had done this differently, or if I hadn't done that, or if I would have done that, maybe the baby would still be here. We don't need anyone to add to that list and make us feel like we are to blame. Not to blame. We're not God. We don't control life. We don't. So don't blame her. And even if you think that she was, she doesn't need to hear it. She doesn't need to hear it. Don't say it. 9. Give it a few days and you'll feel better. 10. You can always have another one. That's not necessarily true. You might not be able to have another one. And how awful would that be to hear that statement? Because you don't know what happened when they lost that baby, or how they lost the baby. There may be damage and they may not actually be able to have another one. Even if they can, having another baby does not replace the one that was lost. So don't just diminish the life of the one that they lost. I'm going to wrap this video up and we're going to leave this as a 3-part video, but come back and hear what you should do or what you could say when somebody has a miscarriage. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so that way you can see that next video when it comes out, because it will notify you then. You can also follow me on Instagram, and I highly recommend that you do, because you'll learn about what's going on in between videos that I post. You can also connect with me there and ask me more questions there, or just leave a comment or a question down below. Please use sensitivity and kindness when you're writing those questions, because just like the things we listed of what you shouldn't say, please don't say them anything like that down in the comments. Think before you speak. Always follow Mom's rule of thumb. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to chasing more rainbows with you. Bye. Oh, she's scratching at the door. Aren't you, Mimi? All right. Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks for watching today's video. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Also, follow me over on Instagram at Chasing Rainbows channel. That way you can see what I'm up to between videos.